On June 25, 2020, Germany woke up to news that made no sense. For years, Wirecard had been showing rapid growth and was called the future of European technology. But suddenly, it became clear. 1.9 billion euros simply didn't exist in its financial reports. Not stolen, not transferred. The money was never real. Regulators called emergency briefings. Investors didn't know where to look. The news, the statements, or the empty space where the money should have been. And it became obvious. This story wasn't about a failed business. It was about an illusion that had been maintained for years. Markus Braun built the image of Wirecard as a company that worked faster than banks and more honestly than old financial systems. He loved to talk about the digital future, global markets, and endless possibilities for growth. Every speech sounded like a presentation from a man completely sure of his direction. But inside the company, more and more depended on one person, COO Marsalek. He oversaw overseas operations and controlled the Asian business, which supposedly brought in the majority of Wirecard's profits. And this business would later turn out to be the most unclear part of the entire empire. Wirecard looked like a tech giant, but no one could confidently explain where its numbers were coming from. Wirecard sold the idea of a new digital financial era. They claimed they built infrastructure for global payments, processed billions, and worked with major companies around the world. Reports looked impressive, profits were growing, and the public saw Wirecard as Europe's answer to Silicon Valley. But most of this growth came from territories far from Germany. According to reports, the company's biggest profits came from partners in the Philippines, Singapore, and Indonesia. These partners supposedly held client funds in special trust accounts, and those accounts were supposed to contain exactly 1.9 billion euros. Everything looked solid, until someone finally checked whether those funds were real. Auditors from EY repeatedly asked Wirecard for confirmation of the funds in those overseas accounts. But every year they received excuses, technical delays, bank errors, documents on the way. Inside Germany, analysts were raising alarms. Short sellers, journalists, and financial experts openly questioned Wirecard's numbers. But German regulators dismissed the criticism and even accused skeptics of market manipulation. The company's image was so strong that many simply couldn't believe something could be wrong. In 2020, the German regulator demanded an independent audit from KPMG. KPMG analyzed Wirecard's operations and couldn't confirm the existence of the 1.9 billion euros. Documents were missing. Transactions didn't add up. The Asian partners didn't respond to inquiries. Pressure grew rapidly, and on June 25, 2020, the new auditors announced the unbelievable. The money didn't exist at all. Wirecard's entire success story was based on financial statements that had no real foundation. After that announcement, everything fell apart in days. Wirecard filed for insolvency. Markus Braun resigned and was arrested shortly after. Marsalek fled the country within hours and vanished. To this day, he remains one of Europe's most wanted fugitives. Billions in market value disappeared. Investors realized the company wasn't a tech miracle. It was one of the biggest financial frauds in European history. Regulators across Europe faced harsh criticism. How could such a massive fraud happen in a country known for strict financial oversight? Investigations were launched in multiple countries. German officials admitted mistakes. Lawsuits piled up. Wirecard's collapse became a symbol of everything that can go wrong when regulators trust the story more than the numbers. The scandal led to major reforms in Germany's financial oversight system. Wirecard promised Europe a new digital future. But behind the bright presentations and confident speeches was a system built on reports no one verified. A company that claimed to handle billions ended up with billions missing. Wirecard became a reminder. When the numbers don't match reality, the truth always comes out, sooner or later. If you want more short investigations into major financial scandals, subscribe.